Welcome to KetoMealsAndRecipes.com. Today I'm making this very delicious and very easy to make keto Nutella cheesecake mousse as my birthday gift to my mom, whose birthday was on September 8th and she would have been 84 years old. As I mentioned last year, she loved cheesecakes and we both loved Nutella, and I thought this would be a perfect combination. I would just like to mention before getting started that although this looks complicated, I assure you that this 3-layer effect is extremely easy to make, and all you have to do is just follow my directions, which are not that complicated. The macronutrient ratio for this recipe is 6.1 to 1, with 6.7 grams of total carbs, 1.9 grams of dietary fiber, resulting in 4.8 grams of net carbs per slice. The first thing I did was to line a standard loaf pan with parchment paper. I would like to point out that my loaf pan is tapered at either side, and if you have one that's straight down, it would be a much nicer even result, but this will work. I've also found a tea loaf pan that I'm going to add the link at the bottom because I'm contemplating ordering this because the results will be much nicer for cheesecakes and loaf type cakes. After lining your pan with the parchment paper, the second thing you should do is to bloom your gelatin. So in a small cup, combine the water and the gelatin, and stir until the gelatin powder is completely dissolved, and then just set it aside for 10 minutes. The time will allow for the gelatin to bloom properly. Next, in a mixing bowl, add the whipping cream. Begin whipping at a low speed, increase the speed to high, and whip to a soft peak stage. You can tell it's at that point where peaks form, but the entire peak folds over on itself right away. Once you've reached that point, set the whipping cream aside until you need it. For the next part, I'm going to use my stand mixer. To the stand mixer bowl, add your room temperature cream cheese, confectionery sweetener, unsweetened almond milk, and here you can choose either plain or vanilla flavor. Whichever you prefer, either is good. And use the paddle attachment because I don't want to add too much air at this point. And whip until all the ingredients are well combined and the mixture has a smooth and creamy consistency. To the cream cheese mixture, add the whipping cream and mix at very low speed for about 30 seconds. Now take a moment and remelt the gelatin if you haven't done so already. Pour in your gelatin very quickly as you're whipping at low speed. Then increase your mixture speed to about medium and continue beating for about 60 seconds or until everything is very well combined. This is all there is to making the base for the cheesecake. By the way, my total weight of the ingredients so far is 950 grams. Or 33.5 ounces. So 1/3 equals 317 grams or 11.2 ounces. Remove about 1/3 of the cheesecake base and place it back into the bowl you used to make your whipping cream. There's no need to dirty more bowls. Add your fresh lemon juice and fold to integrate the lemon juice into the cheesecake base. This is all there is to layer 1. Pour all of the content of layer 1 into the parchment-lined loaf pan. And use your spatula to help spread it evenly, making sure that the mixture reaches all the corners. And just gently drop the loaf pan on the counter to remove any potential air bubbles and to flatten out the surface just a bit more. Then place your loaf pan into the refrigerator for 30 minutes. You don't need it to completely firm up, but to be set enough so you can add the second layer. To the remaining cheesecake mixture, add the first 85 grams or 3 ounces of my keto Nutella. I'll add a link for this in the description below. Then fold everything to combine well. When your first layer has set, carefully add 317 grams or 11.2 ounces of the Nutella cheesecake mixture you just made and scoop it out and gently place it on top of the white layer. Smooth out with a spatula and make sure the corners are filled in well. And then lift the loaf pan and drop it on the counter a couple times, as you did before. Put the loaf pan back in the refrigerator and let it set for another 30 minutes. Now to the remaining mixture, add another 85 grams or 3 ounces of my keto Nutella and fold together until everything is well combined. This will make for a very nice gradient of taste and color, but if you want a really strong taste of Nutella for this final layer, especially when I'm making it for my kids, I double the Nutella in this third layer and add 170 grams or 6 ounces. So try it first with the initial ingredients I've described and then experiment to see how strong you like your final layer to taste. When the second layer has set, Carefully add the last layer of Nutella cheesecake mix and spread it on top of the second layer. Smooth out with a spatula and tap on the counter as you did twice before. Now for best results, it's really important that you allow this cheesecake to set for 24 to 30 hours. If you can resist it that long, the texture you'll be rewarded with is incredibly smooth, creamy, and mousse-like, and this is where the cake gets its name. When you're ready to serve, I found the easiest way to remove the cake from the loaf pan is to place a sheet of parchment paper, which I cut to be the exact size as the top of the cheesecake pan. Place a flat plate or serving dish on this, and holding your loaf pan and platter carefully, flip it over, and then take a hold of the parchment and slide it off this platter you used to flip it with. Also carefully peel off the parchment that was in the loaf pan. For my topping, I'm going to use a simple combination of cocoa and confectionery sweetener combined together. You could use just cocoa, but I think it tastes a little bit too bitter. Now to garnish this like they would in a patisserie. What I did is I measured out a piece of parchment that was about 1/3 of the width of the top of my cheesecake and made sure it fit the entire length. Then place your sweetened cocoa powder into a small sieve and tap the sieve lightly to dust the top of the cheesecake. Then, beginning at one end, carefully peel away the strip of parchment. You want a nice clean straight line where there's no powder. Next, just simply distribute the chopped nuts of your choice in the center area. I would recommend chopped blanched almonds or pistachios. They look and taste the nicest. To serve, cut only the number of pieces you need and use a long bladed knife. Dip it in cold water and dry it off. This will make it easier to cut and have each slice look cleaner. And whatever you don't need in the moment, please place this either in an airtight container or use a cake dome and keep it refrigerated until the next time you need it. Now to taste. Enjoy. Thank you for watching my video, and see you next time. The link for the printable recipes for both my Keto Nutella and this amazing Easy Keto Nutella Cheesecake Mousse are both available in the description below.